Hey, what's happening, world? So, if you're with me and you just joined, then I am going to teach you how to create articles that rank on Google using Surfer SEO and Jarvis AI, Pro or Boss mode. So, if that's something you want to learn, stick around because we're going to get into it. All right, thanks for joining me today. Anthony Chancemuth here from Simple Creative Marketing. And in this session, I'm going to walk you through how to create content or articles that rank on Google. And I'm going to show you two of my favorite tools right now, Surfer SEO and Jarvis AI. And if you are new to these tools, then you can actually go and grab trials of both of those software. So you can see there's a link on my screen here. You can actually get a free 5-day trial of Jarvis with 10,000 credits. Just head over to simplecreativemarketing.com/Jarvis dash resources. And you also find a link there on, you can get a 30-day money back guarantee trial of Surfer as well. Okay, so now let's jump into this session, and I'm going to share my screen and walk you through the process. Okay, so here's my screen, and I've got up on the screen Jarvis, which is the copywriting AI software that I've been talking about, really raving about for the past couple of months now. It's really become an essential part of my toolkit, and you'll hear me talking about, just how cool this tool is. And I will preface, if you're new to all of this, that it's not a one-click solution to all your article writing problems and challenges. You actually still need to guide the tool, the AI. Okay, so it is an AI-driven software. So is Surfer as well, which you'll see in a moment. But the key thing to note here is that you are the boss, and think of Jarvis and Surfer as your assistants, and they will help you to produce high-quality content, but they will not do the work for you completely. Okay, so it doesn't mean that you can just replace a copywriter or a content writer or someone like that completely. You still need to have someone in your team, whether it's you or someone else, to guide the AI. Okay, so what you're seeing on the screen right now, I'm just going to flick it into full screen mode here. You can see this is a new feature that's just been released in Jarvis this week, really. It's called Recipes, and you can see here that you can actually, they've already created some recipes that you can use with, this works with Pro mode or Boss mode, which are the higher tier paid plans, and the ones I would recommend you use if you are, if you have the intention of producing consistent articles on a regular basis, and you need some help, pushing those out. Then you can see here with these recipes, this is a super cool feature. You can basically choose, if you wanted to do a video script for videos that you're going to produce, or a blog post, or come up with a quick way to generate ideas, or write Facebook ads or cold emails, or even a press release. This one I just played around with yesterday, which is the perfect non-fiction book introduction and outline. That is an amazing recipe that you can use. And you can also, what I really like now is you can create your own recipes. All right. And so here I've got one that I've just created specifically for this tutorial, which is a recipe for SEO optimized articles using Surfer SEO and Jarvis. Okay, there's a brief here. So if you want to write articles that rank, you can use this recipe to produce the article, right, using these tools. And then in here, as you can see, this is the actual recipe. So think of recipes like, like a cooking recipe, right? If you were to bake a cake, you would find, let's say it's a chocolate mud cake, you would find the recipe for that chocolate mud cake, and you would follow step by step the recipe. So what you do in here with the Jarvis recipe is you have the steps outlined in here, and these are actually commands. So you can see these specific sentences are commands that you can run inside of Jarvis boss mode, that then instruct the AI to do the command, to execute on that command. Okay, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to demonstrate that to you in a moment. Right, so But let me just walk you through the recipe first, and then we'll do the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing in this process is your step one is to use Surfer SEO keyword research tool to identify a high volume keyword for your specific topic or niche. Okay, and then once you've done that, you're going to go and then use the content planner to find the best angle, or the deep dive a bit more into what keyword you're actually going to use. And then once you have those things, you're going to pop into Jarvis, and then we're going to create a new document using the document editor, right? And we're going to enable SEO mode, which I'll show you. Then we draft the article, and we'll follow. There's a bunch of commands here that we follow to create that. Then we create a conclusion for the article, and then we use the integration of SEO mode, which is Surfer integration into Jarvis, to actually optimize the article to make sure that it is keyword optimized and ready for ranking on Google as well. Okay, and then there are some bonus tips here, or step 7 I've got here is on how to prepare or edit the article for publishing. And this is the part where you're stepping out of Jarvis and Surfer SEO, and now you're following your editing process, which is a manual human process. Even though, having said that, there are a couple of tools here that I recommend you use in this workflow. And then at the end, I've got some bonus publishing tips in here for you as well. So now let's just go and do it. Okay, so if you have any questions around this stuff, throw it into the chat or into the comments, and I can respond to you afterwards. But let's just walk you through here. So then, the nice thing here is you can then click run to create a new document from this particular recipe inside of Jarvis. And something else I want to show you here is, now that this recipe has been created, you can actually click on public link and copy this link and share it out to other Jarvis users, and they can actually then click on that link and access the recipe and use it and run it for themselves. Okay, which is super, super cool. All right, so I will be sharing this afterwards, but for now, let's just hit run. Okay, so now Jarvis has created opened up the document editor, and in here, so we are now in the long form editor, which is only available for pro mode or boss mode. So if you're using the lower tiered plan, which is like $27 a month or something like that, you won't be able to access this tool. So actually, you'll need the pro mode or the boss mode to get into this. But if you wanted to just test the recipe, you can actually run these using specific templates inside of outside of boss mode, which I might do a different video tutorial on that. But for now, let's just show you what you can do using this recipe. All right, so like I said, step 1, we're going to go over to Surfer SEO. So I've logged in, we're in here now, and I'm going to use the keyword research tool, right? So I click on keyword research, and I want to do repurposing blog content, for example. All right, so I'm going to run keyword research on that. Hit run. Okay, so it's done with duplicates here, so I'm just going to delete these queries. Okay, and I click on that, and you can see now Surfer's giving me, for this particular keyword, some alternative keyword ideas. It's giving me also the search volume for those keywords, and so this gives me sort of some ideas, okay, of what keyword I might want to use for the article. All right, and specific to what I want to do right now is I want to write about how to repurpose blog content. Okay, so I may choose that. Now this is a low volume keyword, and that's fine for this example. But certainly, if you want to go after higher volume keywords, you can. Okay, so you could write an article which is about repurpose content. That's 480 search volume. Now these numbers, they're not precise in the sense that these are exact what you're going to find on Google and other keyword research tools. I use it more as a gauge to gauge popularity of the keyword, right? And obviously, the higher the search volume, the more popular that keyword is in comparison to the rest of these keywords. Yeah, and so that's how I use it. Okay, so now that's in my mind. I want to use how to repurpose blog content. I'm going to copy that. Then I'm going to go over to here. Okay, so step 2. So I'm just going to paste that in there for now. All right. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, we want to use the content planner to find the best keyword. All right. So we've taken that idea and gone, okay, well, that's a one that we might use. I'm going to click on content planner up here. I'll paste the keyword into this here, and then now you can also change the, should have mentioned this with the last one, but you can change the region as well. So for whatever country that you're trying to rank in. So if you're already in the US, then you would use US, like mine is. I have clients that are in the US and Australia for my services, for my copywriting services. So I can use both. But for you, think about where you want to try and get your articles found. Then you would choose the appropriate location. Could be the UK, for example. And then I would click on Create Content Planner, and you can see now Surfer is doing its thing. It's going to produce. It's going to do some research around different keywords and whatnot. And then it's going to give me some options for me to choose from for the next step. Okay, so that's let's leave it to do its thing. Welcome for anyone who's just joined. I can see a couple of people have just joined online. If you want to just let in the chat, say hello, let me know where you're joining in from. That would be super cool. And I'm also curious to know if you're already using tools like, if you're familiar with Surfer SEO or Jarvis AI, or if you're new to these tools. Okay, so all right, so we're still using the SEO Content Planner. Okay, let's see where we are at. Okay, so here, how to repurpose blog content, right? So that's the one that's created. So I can just click on that now, and we've gone into the content planner, and you can see it's given us 85 what's called clusters results for that particular topic that we're searching for, right? And what that means is, in here you can see it's gone out and found related keywords to the initial keyword that we use, and it's giving us an estimate of search volume, and in there for each related keyword that it's giving us, it's also giving us related keywords within that cluster, that group of keywords. Okay, so and we can really work out, okay, well, what am I trying to write about? What am I trying to what's the intent what's the topic, right? What are we actually wanting to write about here? So I'm wanting to write about how to repurpose blog content. It's giving me repurposing is getting around 22,000 search volume per month for the US. Lead magnet. So I could write something about lead magnets. I could write something about evergreen content. So people who are searching for how to repurpose blog content are also searching for these related keywords, right? How to do guest posting, content promotion, content syndication, cornerstone content, these sort of things, right? So it's giving me all these related keywords. I want to stick to the original topic, which is how to repurpose blog content. So let me just filter by, let's just go through these and see what else is here that might be usable. All right. So I think repurposing is probably, repurposing blogs is in there as well. So that's the sort of the most direct match to what I'm wanting right now. So I'm going to use that. So I can click on this here, and it's showing me, okay, repurposing content, repurposing blogs, repurposing blog content. So that's what I wanted at the beginning. It's in that within the primary keyword, the target keyword it's recommending is repurposing. This is great. So I'm going to then click on Create Content Editor. And I might copy repurposing blog content. All right, so then I'm going to come back into here. I'm going to put here, replace this in brackets here with repurposing blog content. Right? So now we are done with the Surfer section of what we're doing. And then we go to step 3, which is to create a new document. So we've already created a new document by running the recipe. So we're already in here. So what we do want to do is enable SEO mode. Okay. And to do that, it's really simple. Up here, all you need to do is, you can see up here, there's focus mode, SEO mode, and power mode. I won't go into power mode in this session. I've done another tutorial that you can actually view more about that. But in this one, I'm going to click on SEO mode. And what it will do is it's now connecting into Surfer SEO and it's pulling it up in here. Okay. So you can see this was the content editor that I just created for repurposing. So it's coming up in here, which is great. So I just need to click on that. All right. Okay. So here it is. It's talking about repurposing. And then straight away, it's giving us some guidelines, right? And this is the power of Surfer, right? So what Surfer does, it actually looks at the articles that are ranking on page 1 for this particular keyword and the related keywords here, and then it's giving us recommendations on what it's found, right? It's done some analysis, and it's saying that articles that are ranking on page 1 are typically between 3,900 words to 4,518 words for those articles, right? And they usually have about 30 to 46 headings, at least 128 paragraphs, and 25 to 46 images. Okay, so in order for us to even get close to ranking, on page 1 for this particular keyword, then our article needs to fulfill these particular requirements. Okay, and then here's the magic of Surfer. In addition to that, it also gives us a whole range of related keywords. Okay, and it tells us, right? So for this particular article, we should mention blog posts at least 15 times. All right. So we should use it 15 to 32 times. For repurposing content, we should mention that keyword 10 to 18 times. Content marketing, 3 to 11 times, right? Evergreen content, 2 to 5 times. So basically, as we're writing the article, we want to start putting these keywords into the article, and they're all red right now, but they start turning green. Okay. So once you have something turn green, so I'll do an example, like blog content should be there at least 1 to 3 times. So if I put in here blog content, there you go, you notice it just went green. Okay. And so our goal, it's almost like a game, is to actually get as many of these turn green as possible. And then what we'll see happen is this score here, the content score, will start to increase. And our goal here is to really get it to go into the green section. And to do that, you need to have a content score of 70 plus. All right. Now, do you need to get to 100? The Surfer SEO team tell us we don't need to. They actually recommend once you get to 70 to 75, you're pretty much good to go. You can then hit publish on your article and start doing the things you need to do to get the article promoted and ranking better. And I do have some tips at the end of this tutorial on how to do that. But that's what the objective is. All right. So you can see by combining Jarvis here with Surfer, we can actually start to produce the article and then optimize as we go. Right. So we've just done step 2. We've done step 3. We're moving on to drafting the article. So now that we have the topic, which is repurposing blog content, right? So let's do that. So I can then come here and I'm going to replace this blog post topic in brackets with the actual blog topic. Okay. Now, on my keyboard, I'm using a Mac. I can use a keyboard shortcut, which is Command Shift Return, and that will then. This is a command. It will tell Jarvis, follow this command. Okay, and if you don't know what the keyword commands are, you can what the shortcuts are. You can click on this Pro Tips on the bottom right hand corner, and you can see keyboard shortcuts. Right, and it tells you to run a command. You can place your cursor at the end of a line and press Command plus Enter or Control plus Enter on the PC, and it will execute the command. Right. I like to use Command Shift. I'll use Command plus Shift plus Enter because it leaves the command there, so you can actually see the command that you used. Right. But if you don't, whilst you're in your flow, you can actually just use the run command, which is command plus enter or control on a PC, and it will just replace that particular command with the text. Okay, so let's just do that. And then if you are on you also have, there's a voice activation as well. So I can press Control twice on my keyboard, and then I can speak it out, right? So let's not do that. Let's, but anyway, so I could do Command Control twice. Write a list of blog title ideas for repurposing blog content. Oh, I said blog. I don't know why I said blog, but you're gonna play around with it, and then you'll get your voice over time. Okay, so that's voice activated if you prefer to give Jarvis voice commands. All right, so let's go. We've got the topic now. Let's execute the first command. So we're just going to follow the recipe, right? So now I've already laid out the recipe for you. So you just need to follow the recipe. So we go to here, we press Command Shift Return. All right. So now Jarvis is starting to write things. All right. Now I didn't really follow my command, so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to fix a few things that I haven't done yet. So let's go back to focus mode for a second. There are a couple of things that we need to do before we go into running the commands. First thing is we want to actually put the title of the article here. All right, so I'm going to copy this keyword. I'm going to stick it into the keyword section. I'm going to put it in here. Guide to repurposing blog content. Or ultimate. I won't give a title. I'll just put that. This is an article on repurposing blog content. Okay, so that just gives it some context, and you can actually turn off this info as well. But if you leave it on the way it is, Jarvis actually, the AI will reference the title, the content brief, and the keyword, and it basically uses that context to produce the writing for you, right? Now, if you don't want to use any of those things, you can actually turn those off. Okay, but I like to give it there. And output length, you can choose small, shorter, medium, or longer, depending on how much text you want to write. For the sake of this demo, I'm just going to put it on long, and you'll see what happens. So here's what we want to do. So we're going to come into here. The mistake that I made was, one, I haven't filled that out. So now that's filled out. The second thing is we're going to use these 3 asterisks to actually tell Jarvis that we don't want Jarvis to read anything above the asterisks. All right. So this is important, okay, because the way that Jarvis works is if you don't use, if you remove that and it was just like this, and you ran a command like we just did, what it's doing is it's referencing this information we provided here, but it's also reading everything above it. I think it's up to I'm going to get 600 words, so I could be wrong. I need to check that, but let's just say a couple of paragraphs above, right? So if you don't want it to do that, because these are all, more like reference guide information. This is not actually specific. This is not information relevant to the article that we're trying to write. So what we want to do is put these commands here. This command 3 asterisks and tell Jarvis, all right, we want to write a list of blog title ideas for repurposing blog content. Let's execute that command. Okay, here you go. All right, so it's giving me some ideas. Repurposing blog content, which is the same as we have anyway. You can do repurposing ebooks into blogs, a blog for your business, your ebook into a blog, repurpose blog content into an ebook to generate more leads. Repurposing old articles. Okay, I'm going to run that again. And let's see what other ideas I may come up with. Okay, that didn't work. Let's try that again. All right, so it's giving me some stuff that's not really useful here, so I'll just delete that, but it's also given me some stuff that is useful, right? So repurposing blog content strategy, repurposing blog content by doing a social media post. I like repurposing a blog, repurpose your blog content to generate more leads. So we could use something like that to generate more traffic and leads for your business, right? So just help me to better understand that. In your content brief, it's also good to clarify who your target audience is. So you can say, this is an article on repurposed blog content for small businesses wanting to systemize their marketing, generate more leads and traffic for so more business owners, right? So yeah, it's always good to give some context. The more context you give it in the brief, the better it's going to produce for you. So now that I've updated that, I'm interested to see what it would do with this particular command. All right, so let's go here, Command Shift Return. Okay, so now we're getting more better, right? Like this is getting more relevant, repurposing blog content for local businesses to boost websites SEO, to upsell products or services, right? So it really depends what you want, where your focus is, but you can see by clarifying the brief, Jarvis then produces more relevant results, right? So I'm going to delete all of this stuff. All right, so you could say, local business. For me, it's more my client online businesses. So I can say repurposing blog content for online businesses to build brand awareness. Traffic and leads. Okay. Quite long, but anyway, we can work on that later. All right, so now we have that. We can say, okay, let's write, the next command is, let's write an article brief about the particular blog content, right? So let's take that title that we've just got there, and I'm going to paste that into here, right? And then let's tell Jarvis to do work its magic. Okay, so maybe too long, so I'm going to reduce that. Okay, so this is better. All right. All right, so blogging is a crucial aspect of most online businesses, but repurposing your content can ensure that you're consistently generating more traffic and leads. Whether you want to repackage old blog posts or design new content with repurposed material, multiple ways you can repurpose your blog's current material. Okay, that's a start. All right, but that's something that we can work with. We can work with that, right? So let's delete that for now. I'm going to leave that, and then we'll go to instead of an article brief, let's try writing a blog post intro. All right. So here, I'm just going to say command. Let's run the command. Okay, so the repurposing of blog content is an integral part of any online business. One of the most powerful ways to repurpose material, increase your brand awareness, website traffic, and leads is through repackaging old blog posts or redesigning new content with repurposed material. We'll explore both options below. So that's a nice introduction for this article, right? Now, another way to do an intro to an article is to use copywriting formulas, right? So PAS, which is problem, agitate, solution, is a popular copywriting framework. Okay, and let me just show you what it does. All right, so I'm going to just say, okay, write PAS for the content above. Let's go Command Shift Return. Okay, so let's look at what it's done here. Right, it's going, okay, here's the problem. Repurposing blog content is integral part of any online business, but repackaging old blog posts or designing new content can be a lot of work, right? So we're going to agitate that particular problem. It's difficult to repurpose your current content when you're short on time and resources. True statement. You might not have the time or skills to repackage old blog posts or design new content with repurposed material. The solution, okay, so we've got you covered. Our team has developed a system for repurposing that will save you hours each week by automating the process and giving you more time to focus on each aspect of your business. So we can replace this by using our system. We are able to increase website traffic. All right, so let's delete that. Then we can sort of wrap that up by saying, well, this guide will walk you through, or this article, right, will guide you through our blog content repurposing system. There you go. And now what you would do is, you would remove the problem, the agitate, solution. So you can see this whole thing, this could become the intro for the article. You get to pick and choose now from these things. You don't need to use them all. This is just a framework, a recipe that you can, that I work through when I'm coming up with the ideas of how I'm going to create the intro, right? So this whole section is really to help you do that intro in the first 2 paragraphs. And then once you have that, you want to think about, okay, well, what are the subtopics that I'm going to write about or present in the article, or in this case, a guide, right? So then I'm going to then use this command, okay, which is we're telling Jarvis to write a blog outline for this particular topic. All right, so let's paste it in there. We're going to tell Jarvis to write the outline for this. So let's go Command Shift Return. Okay, so what it's given us, repurpose blog posts can be a variety of purposes. So I'm not loving that, so I'm just going to change this to simplify it down to repurposing blog content, which was a keyword, and let's run that again. All right. Now it's giving me some ideas that I can work with. Okay, repurposing blog content for small business owners. So this is more around why we do it. Repurposing blog content, generate more leads and traffic. Okay. So what if we change this to how to repurpose to grow your small business? All right, so reasons. All right. this isn't working so well for me, so I'm going to delete this. And what I'll do instead is I'm going to show you power mode. Wasn't planning to do that, but let me show you what I do. So there's a blog post outline template. So the power mode, actually, Jarvis gives you, there's, I think, something like 40, or maybe it's in 50. Let's delete that now. There's a whole bunch of templates in here that you can use to do different things, right? So what we want to do is the blog post outline template allows you to create lists and outlines for your articles, which is exactly what we wanted to do with this command, but it's not giving me the output I want. So I'm just going to use the blog post outline template to see if I get a better result. So let's go how to repurpose blog content to grow your brand and traffic and leads, right? Tone of voice, we'll leave it as expert, but you can actually play around with tone of voice. For those in marketing, you could try something like Russell Brunson. That could work. You could try some other popular marketers and put their names in there and see what it comes up with. You can get creative with that, but I like to go with expert. Let's hit generate. Okay, this is much better. Okay, so you can see, this is a better outline. How to repurpose blog content, benefits, examples, create framework, tips, ways that you can use old blog posts in the future. Let me just favorite that. Okay, so, and you can hit copy and paste it into there. I also want to, now that I can see that this particular is blog post title or topic is working. What if we put it into here? And let's hit Command Shift Return. Okay, this is better. Better is not what I want, but this actually gives me ideas for subtopics that I can use in the how-to into the how-to section of this article, right? So what I want to do is, this is good too. Why is repurposing content important for your business? How to find the right content to repurpose? What examples? Tips on how you can make your own blog post more attractive, right? Which platforms you want to target? How should I title my article? When should I publish? Who am I targeting? What is repurposing? How does it work? These are all excellent. Okay, so let's keep it simple. I'm going to use the first one. Make sure I favorite that. Okay, and I'm going to favorite this one too because I'm going to come back to it later. Let's paste this here. Right. I'm going to remove this text here. So you can see this just really helps with brainstorming things. I'll put this here is ideas for how-to section. Right. Okay. So now that we have this here, which gives us an outline for the article, right? We can also flip back to SEO mode. And it's really up to you how you want to do this. You can use this SEO mode as your in the writing process, or you can use it at the end after you've written the draft and you want to come back and optimize. I like to do it at the end, but even with this process, you can then start to think about using some of these keywords in here, right? So benefits of repurposing your blog content. So you can say your blog posts, right? How to, there's guest posting, traffic's already green, which is great. Repurpose, there's old blog posts here, right? So you can put here, repurpose your old blog posts. Oh, that's actually gone over. it says it's telling me we've already got 6, so I will not use it that many times. But anyway, so you can see you can kind of go in as you're on the fly and start to update these things as you go. Some of these have started to turn yellow already, which is great. And now I'm going to come back to focus mode. And here, these are some other additional commands, basically saying, okay, for each of these outline items, right, we can expand upon each one of those. Okay, so we can say, well, let's tell Jarvis to write about the benefits of repurposing your blog posts. So I'm going to replace that there, right, and I'm going to hit Command Shift Return. Here you go. See, repurposing blog content has many benefits. One of the main benefits of repurposing is the length of time you can take you to repurpose. That's a rubbish statement. So this is why editing is still required, right? Because sometimes it talks like this and it's garbage. Most of what comes out is useful, but it's not the final thing, right? So just keep that in mind if you're going to use a tool like this, instead of just relying. I actually don't like that. Right, a list of benefits. Okay, so let's try that. Now, if you want to, it's giving me three benefits, and if I like where it's going, so what it's saying is repurposing your blog post makes them more searchable. Great. Repurposing content is going to turn one post into multiple posts. That's great. It offers you new opportunities for building relationships with fellow bloggers and influencers who have similar work. Now, it's kind of cut the sentence off here. So if you want to continue Jarvis to continue its thought, right, then you just hit Command J and let it run to continue writing, right? Repurposing content builds your brand through a steady stream of same information, helps you identify gaps in your blog and market offerings, great for internal link building, which can positively impact search engine results. Repurpose blog posts increase your online exposure without adding more time to your already pressed schedule. Especially valuable if you have ever had problems. Finish that sentence, Jarvis, with a blogger network. Okay, so yeah, let's go with 10 things. So let's make that medium. Compose. All right, so you can use some of these things. You notice it also has some grammatical errors, so you need to fix those things up. Repurposing our content. Okay. So that's something that we can work with, all right? So list of benefits here. So now these have become essentially sections. So what I like to do is take each one of these, separators in between them. Something else you can do, which is really helpful, is once you have these different outline subtopics, is you can actually turn these into headings, right? You can make this a H1 or a H2 or whatever it may be. So you can actually start to make it start to look like what the final output would look like when it's on your website, right? And also Jarvis looks at headings and then it actually knows, okay, that's a heading. So I'm going to use that right about that particular heading. So it actually has that intelligence too. All right, so let's go. I've taken this list. Let's copy all of that. I'm going to cut it out, paste it into this section here, the benefits. Let's get rid of number 1 because that's not actually going to be my number 1. And I'll put here the benefits of repurposing your blog posts. And we would clean that up, of course. So, but for now, that just gives us something to work with, okay? What are some examples of successful? Now, this is, we can tell Jarvis to write about this, right? So let's go right. So I'm going to just paste that here. Like so. And if you remember before, there was this whole different ideas that it gave us on what you could do, different ways to repurpose your articles, right? So like I like these. Ways to repurpose old blog posts. I can actually turn it into a bullet point list. Now we can actually get Java to generate a list like this as well, but just use what we have. Okay, so some examples: how to create a framework for repurposing your old blog posts. I would put it here. And I would just, okay, so let's go, that's going to be a heading. And we can actually expand on that. So I'm just going to hit Command J. And look what Jarvis is doing. So it's basically reading what's above it. So we've said, okay, read everything below this point, and then continue. So I've just hit Command J, continue the thought, right? So it's gone and added, well, we could do a paid guest post on another site. You can rewrite old blog posts using new information, insights, or tools. Then it starts to go into strategies for repurposing your content. So let's see where that's going to take us. It's starting to repeat itself now. So that's not useful. I like that as a heading. So I'm going to replace that there. Turn that into a heading. And then we could say Jarvis, write about strategies for repurposing your blog content. Let's run that and see what it comes up with. Okay, it's given us repackaging for landing pages, which is useful. And I could have it continue that, right? I could say, write a list of strategies. Okay, so you can see you can play with the different commands to see if it gives you better results. It's giving me short form, so now sometimes you'll see it's pulling this stuff because what it's doing, it's accessing the Jarvis team say it's 10% of the internet up to 2019. It's actually accessing that database and it's just pulling, it's writing based on the context provided to it, and it will pull things like this. So you want to make sure that, it's now 2.01, anything that it produces, the team basically virtually guarantee that it's unique. And so there's no two articles that Jarvis will write that are identical. And then the second thing is that Jarvis does not, you won't find the content that you produce using Jarvis plagiarized, that it's plagiarizing anything that's online. And you also need to check that, right? So I wouldn't take that off face value. Best thing to do is to actually run it through a tool like Copyscape is the best one out there right now based on what I've tested. And you just want to make sure that anything you produce is authentic and original, right? And so, okay, so now it's got some ideas. This is good. We can use this. So we could clean that up, right? So I would use that there. I would take this here. We can add that there. So there's a whole bunch of different ideas there. I would clean that up afterwards, but for now, let's leave it. And then you go, okay, what are some examples? You can see, so you would just follow that framework and flesh out the rest of this article. All right. And then down here, there are some other additional commands you could use that I've put here for you. Like you can write persuasive bullet points for whatever the topic is, right? So if you can say benefits of repurposing your blog posts. So for that, I could repurposing blog content. So I could then, for example, use this command. I could say, well, I want some really persuasive bullet points for repurposing your blog content, right? For repurposing your blog content. So I could run that command. Prove the search engines, customers, and prospects you're a thought leader. Increase the number of opportunities for repurposing by adding it to your market automation CRM. Free up time to write even more content, right? Don't know what that is. Let's remove that. So this is, which can be useful. So we can use this in that section. You can also get it to write FAQs. Something that's good to put it on your article, and Google likes this, is to have an FAQ section, right? So let's write some FAQs about repurposing blog content, Jarvis. Right, so it's given us what is repurposing blog content, why repurpose, how to repurpose, when should you repurpose. I can hit Command J and continue that. Tell me more. Okay, it's starting to get excited. So you can see here, it's giving me some key points. Detail how repurposed blog content can be republished to different platforms, forums, etc., etc. Can be integrated into other pieces of marketing collateral, showcase. Well, I like where it's going, so I could continue that thought. All right, but I like how it's just giving me some questions here that I could list out as a FAQ section in the article, right? I wanted to show you these commands that you can use. And then at the end, right, so once we've gone to here, we want a conclusion. Okay, so you can actually say, Jarvis, write a blog conclusion on, and then we can get the specific outline items. So if you remember, we had 6 or 7 outline items, which are these, right? Benefits of repurposing. Okay, on strategies for repurposing blog posts, and let's just go with that for now. And let's go write a blog conclusion. Okay, so it's really starting to expand on some certain ideas here. I like this starting off with the repurposing process is a time-consuming one, so it's worth planning ahead. Now it's giving use this planner at this website. If you have a planner like that, you can replace that with your own website. But I would actually remove all of that. And I'm going to do something else. Let's go back to the power mode. And let's go to blog post conclusion paragraph. Right. So, okay, what are the main points here? Why repurpose for traffic and leads? How to repurpose. And then you can have a call to action here, which is whatever you have to could be subscribe, could be go download your guide, whatever it may be. Let's try this. Okay, so repurposing blog content is a great way to increase your website traffic and leads. There are many ways you can repurpose for more exposure, such as running ads on Facebook. You could also use social media influencers to share that post with their followers. To help you get started thinking about how to repurpose your content, we've compiled a list of 3 main ways: rewriting, publish as PDF, okay, so this is something that could be utilized. So we're just looking for ideas on what we can put here, right? The benefits are many. You not only reach in the audience through message, but you also get the chance to remind them about expertise. That's awesome. It is time consuming. Want more help to put this in action? Join my free Facebook group, etc., right? I like this one. This is much better. So that's good. Been done in many ways, from using them as social updates, email articles, read magnets, blah blah. Okay, right. So that's a nice concluding paragraph, right? And now we've gone through. We basically have sort of the draft for the article. There are a few things. Obviously, we would clean this up, but then we can then come back to, okay, we're currently at 1,445 words. Let's flick back into SEO mode. If you remember, we need for this to rank on, have a chance of ranking. You're going to need to increase the word count to fit within the target here, which is 3,928 to 4,518. So then you would go back into each of these sections and then have Jarvis write out each section. And then you would start to, optimize based on these keywords. Okay, so you look for sections where you can actually start to tweak some of these things, right? So I would then go through here. We're in step 7. Okay, or step 6, you would use SEO mode to optimize your article. Just a reminder, you want to use your primary keyword in your headings and subheadings. All right, so if our keyword for this article is repurposing blog content, we want to make sure that in our headings, right, benefits of repurposing blog content. And you can see just by putting your keywords into your headings, your score goes up. You went up from like 36 to 51. All right. So that's just optimizing. Okay. So repurposing blog content. Didn't do anything. Benefits of repurposing blog content, strategies for repurposing blog content. How about we do this? Okay, didn't do much impact at all. What are some examples? Let's send that to an H2. Tips for repurposing blog content. Let's turn that into H2. Anyway, so you keep going, and then we've already gone up to 51. Spend a bit more time, go through, have this write out. So let's see, write about tips for repurposing blog content. Let's go Jarvis. And you can see the word count just starting to climb here. We can keep going there. This is starting to give me stuff that's not too useful. So I'm going to delete all of that. But up to here, these are some good tips. Repurposing content. Content repurposing. Let's remove that. Content repurposing FAQ, H2. Repurpose content. Anyway, so you would continue just going through all of that, get Jarvis to write out the answers to these questions, flesh it out more, okay? And then we've got your conclusion, and then here's what we do afterwards, right? So what I found is to increase the score here. A couple of things you can do is you can add images. In your images, you want to actually, when you're naming the file image before you upload to your host or to WordPress, wherever it is your website is, then you actually want to use your keyword. So in this case, repurposing blog content in the title, the name of the file, and then that's going to add to your score here, right? So you can do that. You can also embed, and you should embed related audio, video to within your article to improve the user experience. Then you want to run. So for me, I run a tool called Grammarly Pro to check the grammar and really clean that up. So one thing you'll notice that with the content that Jarvis produces, the grammar is not the best, and so you always want to make sure that you do run a grammar check. And Grammarly Pro is probably for me, it's one of the best tool right now for doing that, and that will clean up your grammar. It also cleans up the phrasing and some of the paragraph, so it's easier to read and understand. And then I would then run a check in Copyscape. So the way you do this is, you output. So once you've written the whole article here and you've hit, your word count, and this is all gone to green, then you would copy this into a Google Doc, and then that's where I would run Grammarly Pro. I would then output that as a docx file or whatever it may be, and upload it to Copyscape. It's going to give me a plagiarism check to see if it's actually 100% unique, which is what I want. And then from there, there's a few other things you can do once you publish the article, right? So as long as your score again is in the green bar here, then you can move over to publishing, right? So you would then publish an article, and then a couple of tips here is you can work on getting backlinks from sites with higher domain authority than your own. So you would have to execute some kind of outreach process or work with content partners to do that. You certainly want to promote your content, through your newsletter, email list, your partners, social media, paid ads, distribution networks, whatever way you want to do that. You may even take your article and actually follow some of the things that were suggested in this particular example to repurpose your article, and here you go, into different formats and share to different channels. Okay, so that's the entire recipe and the workflow for creating an optimized article for SEO using Surfer SEO and Jarvis AI. I hope you found value from what I've shared today. So I'm going to, let's recap what we've done. So let's come back here. Let's go to recipes. Here's the recipe again, right? So step one, we did the keyword research in Surfer SEO to identify a keyword we wanted to use for our topic. Then we went to the content planner in Surfer to find relevant or related keywords and really identify what specific angle we were going to go for with this article. And then we had we had this we wrote down what that keyword was going to be. Inside of Jarvis, we enabled SEO mode, which connects your Surfer to your Jarvis, and you can run Surfer within Jarvis, and helps you to optimize on the fly. And then step 4, we drafted our article using the commands or this particular recipe here. We went through all of those, and then we created a blog conclusion. And then step 6, we would then come back and use Surfer or inside of Jarvis SEO mode, we would then optimize the article to make sure all those related keywords, or as many of those would turn green, and we get our score up to 70 plus, right? And then we're good to go. We've got an article that is SEO optimized. It's ready for publishing. We would then follow these publishing steps, and then once it's gone live, we can then follow these tips here, like getting backlinks, promoting the article, repurposing the article, etc., to then increase the chances of you really getting that article ranking, on Google. Okay, so I have put this all together. Once again, if you like what you've seen and if you want to have a play with the tool and you're new to Jarvis, you can get a free 5-day trial of Jarvis AI and 10,000 bonus credits at simplecreativemarketing.com/Jarvis resources. That link that you can see on the screen here, and I will throw it into the chat as well. So let me just do that. There you go. Going to take you to this page. And this is where I've already put links to past tutorials that I've done. There's the official Jarvis Facebook group, their own training academy, which is full of just amazing videos that you can learn from. They've got their YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about boss mode and the commands, that I've used a few of those in this particular recipe and this workflow, but there are a bunch of others that you can use. If you want to read reviews, you can. And then here I've got, if you like what you see and you want some more sort of personalized one-on-one coaching, you can click here and book that with me. I've also got some tutorials on how to write social media posts faster using Jarvis. I've got one on how to write long form blog posts in less than 30 minutes. And that's not using boss mode. So for, if you're thinking about, okay, well, I want to give this trial a go and I want to write an article, this particular tutorial shows you both how to do it without boss mode and also how to use it with boss mode. All right. So there's also a list of tools that, other tools that I'm using for writing content better and faster. And then again, if you want to try Surfer SEO, you can actually sign up for a paid plan, but then you have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you're not happy or you don't see that you're going to be using it beyond the 30 days, you can ask for a refund. All right. So there's a link there to grab that. And there you go. Okay. So that's it. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions at all about any of this stuff, just throw it into the comments or hit me up. And, I'm looking forward to helping you write better and more successful content for your small business. Thanks for your time. And I will see you soon. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Ciao.